It's Wednesday, August 27th. Let's level up. Some big earnings after the bell, most notably NVDA. We also had CrowdStrike and Snowflake. We'll get to those in a moment. First and foremost, as far as the VIX goes, until we get over 1724, which was our last swing high, just don't bother talking to me about it. There's no volatility that's worth anything until we can clear that and stay over there. As far as futures go, we're trading between ranges, and actually on the NVIDIA earnings, we traded intra-range from one extreme to the other. The bulls need to clear 64.96 quarter to 65.0875, and I've told you before, I think the 6,500 area could be a pin problem and probably still has some sellers. Bears will need to break it below 64.53 quarter to 64.68 half. If they do that, they could see 64.2675 again, and then maybe even a larger liquidation break. On the upside, if the bulls can get over and stay over that 65.0875, maybe they target the 65.50 and maybe even 6,600. I still think the 6,500 is going to be some tough area to get through though. As far as the Qs go, similar. Their upper distribution that they need to clear is 23,587 half to 23,671. On the downside, the bears would need to take it through 23,404 quarter to 23,465.75. So far, both areas have rejected, meaning price is comfortable either into those zones or actually trading between them. As far as SPY goes, the look above and fail is negated here as long as price stays over 646.19. On the upside, if we were to go to channel high and do it tomorrow, it'd be 654.80. If we fail or have a lower high tomorrow and then take out low of day at 644.42, there's probably a quick liquidation break to the 10 MA at 642.47 and maybe even a retest of the 731 reference high at 639.85. 20 MA is always on deck there if you want to do some kind of 1/2 put ratio, maybe buying 20 MA, 638, selling 50 MA, 627. If you want to do it 1/1 or 1/2, longer dated, I'm good with that as a hedge at the very least. As far as the Qs go, trend is broken, but we are not over the 731 high. It'll be very interesting to see how it trades tomorrow with NVIDIA weak. I don't know that NVIDIA is going to stay weak, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Bulls here need to clear 574.63. The bears need to break it below the 20 MA, and let's just say low of day for easy reference at 570.37. If that breaks, 567.50 is the next likely downside target. On the upside, if we were to rally, it'd be 578.16-ish. As far as NVIDIA goes, the 168s to 169.23 area, which is the 50 MA, is key. If that fails, we could see 164.58, and then maybe even a larger liquidation break to 153.13. So if you want to do some kind of a 1/2 put ratio targeting that retest of the breakout, I'm good with that. If you want to go longer dated and target the 133s to 143s, which was the last earnings reference range, I'm cool with doing something like that too, as long as you can get it on cheap. The bulls here need to clear 183.30. That had been the high from 731, which has been a very key reference candle. Anything below there to me is chop with liquidation break potential. If the bulls can get it over there, we're likely going for the 200s like we've talked about. As far as CrowdStrike goes, this one is seeing a bit of a liquidation break in the after hours, down on earnings. My guess is it's got to hold 396.82. If it can't do that, probably take a run at the 359.39-ish area, and then that would complete the reference cycle. As far as Snowflake goes, anything over 209.77 I think is fine. The gap fill is to the 220.28 area. We're actually trading over there in the overnight session. I think that's a good area to trim profits into, and then of course 229.27, which is also a reference high. After that, we could be looking at 237.72. At this point, I would say pullbacks to that 209.77 are probably viable, but it has to hold there. I think you could use the opening 5 and 15-minute ranges on all of these earning stocks. Neutral inside of them, bullish above them, short below them. As far as Bitcoin goes, nice recovery here. We had talked about that 108,960 to 110,150 as being key. It is now into the next key zone. Bulls here need to hold 113,045 plus. If they can do that, there's likely a retest of 115,000 to 115,635. After that, it's 117,610. So far, we have been rallying and making lower highs only to make lower lows, but we're also coming off the all-time high, which was a look above and fail, and we've had a series of liquidation breaks since. But so far, I still think that this is a expectable and even normal type of a pullback. I think 105,329 would be the next big downside target if we have a sizable liquidation break. It takes us below those 110,000 level again. TLT still not getting the work that needs to be done. Bulls there will need to clear The 20 MA currently 87.13. Anything below there to me is chop with liquidation break potential. If we were to go down to the channel low, that lines up very close to that 84.89 level, which has been key interim support. That would also mark a higher low. So we're making equal highs but higher lows. I still think that the risk for interest rates is likely lower given the Fed is cutting, but everyone on TV seems to think it's higher, and you have these smarty funds that are trying to front run that. I think they have a little bit of recency bias because the last time the Fed cut rates, interest rates went higher, so they're assuming it's going to do it the same way this time. I don't necessarily know that that's going to be the case. As far as Apple goes, trend break today. I think this still looks like it wants to go to the 240s. Into the iPhone launch on September 9th. Anything over 229.15, which is the 10 MA to me, is still bullish. There's still likely some reference sellers at 235.12, but I think it makes the 240.65 and maybe even a run to the 260s if the market stays conducive. Generally speaking, markets are trading near highs. We are caught between some key reference ranges. Eventually, one will break either to the upside or to the downside. Seasonally, we do have weakness now in August, September, and sometimes into October. I think we'll keep an eye on the Bitcoin. If that can recover and stay okay, markets likely follow back to the upside. But if it does start weakening and starts legging down again, I would say that that's likely a precursor to a market correction. Like and follow for more.